to shift your center of operation from here to here. And you can only do that if you really trust the flow and intelligence of this thing called life. Our problem is we don't trust this intelligence of life. We trust the intelligence of what? 250 grams of this thing called brain. All religion, all spirituality, all sadhana, all meditation is just one effort to shift your center of operation from here to here. And you can only do that if you really trust the flow and intelligence of this thing called life. Our problem is we don't trust this intelligence of life. We trust the intelligence of what? 250 grams of this thing called brain. Let me tell you something about intelligence and where we are lacking and why AI is beating us. We were talking about AI, Ashokji. Let me tell you the problem. By the way, a lot that I'm sharing with you, you may not find it in any book. So be here. It is not something that you can ask AI about. So you've got something called localized intelligence, individual localized intelligence. Yeah? Mostly you make your decision based on this localized intelligence, which has a lot of data of your experiences. Am I right? This is just the beginning level intelligence. But whole life you just operate from this beginning level intelligence. There's another level of intelligence, which is called collective intelligence. So when many localized units act as one or get connected, we call it collective intelligence. I'm told Navy SEAL, Google, is trying to crack this formula. How do they make Navy SEAL officers in such a way that they don't operate just from their localized intelligence and they plug into each other's intelligence? And then if 10 people go into a zone, war zone, they go as 10 bodies with 10 different abilities, but they operate as one single unit, one single intelligence. They're trying to crack this, my friends. And we long-bearded one in India have been talking about it from 10,000 years. Nobody is listening to us. Well, that's a joke. The world is listening to us. But you understand what I'm saying. That's called collective intelligence. When these individualized units are connected, we call it collective intelligence. I'll come to AI in a bit. This is just level 2 I'm talking about. And then there's something called level 3 intelligence. I call it cosmic intelligence. When now you're no more dependent on this collective alone, you're able to enter into the cosmic space. There's intelligence in the cosmos. You download that intelligence and you operate your life on that. Now the beauty, as your level of intelligence upgrade, you start to develop much more trust in life. At the individual level of intelligence, you don't trust anybody, not your wife, not your husband. You sign agreements even with them. Am I right? It's called what? Prenups. You don't even trust the person sleeping next to you. Because you're operating from what we call the localized individual intelligence. At this level of intelligence, you don't trust anything. You approach life from absolute mistrust. If a doctor suggests you something, you'd go for second opinion. You don't trust anything. And that is the zone of suffering. Sutra hai ye. I'm sharing the secret now. When you don't trust anything or anybody, you enter into what we call suffering. All your suffering is because of mistrust. What is going to happen in the future? Mistrust. Will my partner deceive me? Mistrust. All these are the causes of your suffering. Look at it very carefully and deeply. Are we together? As you move to the second level of intelligence, your trust level parallelly increases. Now you trust people. Now you trust nature. Now you trust animal. Now you're not threatened by any presence. Just not few weeks, but a few months ago, I was walking in the forest up in the Himalayas. We've got all kind of beautiful life forms there. And one life form came very near. I was not paying attention because I was looking at the sky and walking. And a life form just crossed around my feet. I was not even wearing the shoe, I was wearing a sandal. And then I hear a very fearful sound of the rattle. It was a rattlesnake. I just stood still, watched the guy because I've never seen a rattlesnake. But the sound that it makes will shake your heart to the core. And I said, could be the last moment. I'm in the middle of a forest. Even if they try to save me, they can't because I'm very far away from civilization. But this beautiful creature makes rattle sounds, touches my feet. I'm still, walks by. And before it enters there was a big rock. It was going under the rock, there was space. He stood there, turned around, looked at me. I looked at him as if we are friends from some life. We acknowledged each other's presence. And I thanked him. I don't know what he did. And he went away. Trust, I'm talking about. You start to trust life in its absolute brilliance. And now imagine when you enter into the cosmic intelligence space, what's going to happen? Can't be put into words. That's the epitome of spiritual awakening, we call moksha. These are layers of or levels of trust that you start to expand. And as trust builds or expands, suffering starts to disappear. Joy starts to enter. Trust and joy have a deep relationship. So if you in life, no matter what you do, what you acquire, there's a joyfulness is lacking. Please look at carefully. The trust is lacking. And trust is lacking because you're operating at the lowest zone of intelligence. Are we together? AI. Do you know why AI is beating you? You think it's a tool serving you? Yes, it's a tool serving you, but it's beating you left, right, and center. Wait for maximum 24 months and see what it'll do to you. I'm not scaring you. Reality. But what is making AI so powerful? Can you tell me? Anybody?
Trust.
I'm not sure. Kim?
It's connected.
Sorry?
It's connected.
Shabash.
So it becomes a larger entity.
Shabash. And shabash in Hindi means brilliant, well done. Exactly. AI is becoming super powerful because it's connected to other AI systems and they're constantly talking to each other. They're in love with each other, if you say. They're in constant communion with each other. And what are you doing? We're not building that connection with anybody. Humans have lost this art of connecting with each other. The moment you lose the art of connecting, you become weaker species. You know about the forest, how it survives and becomes strong. A forest is called strong when the roots of tree under the earth meet the other roots of other trees under the earth. They don't even care about what species of trees, and they get intertwined and they create a communication network and they connect with source. At the deepest level, they are connected to each other. And that's how They grow, evolve, and survive.